This is Moonshine and Music with Joe Shelton. Wait a minute, that's me. Anyway, we're going to bring you some inspiring songwriters, musicians, and maybe some side challenges and other stuff around the music industry. So stick with us right now, because the show is coming your way. Woo! Moonshine and Music starts right now. Welcome to Moonshine and Music. We're here today with my really good friend, Tom Westrick. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm good, Joe. How are you?
I am good, man. I am, stunned to have someone of your stature. I'm just
only
kidding.
like 5'10", dude. It's not a big thing.
Well, sometimes we have on people that we kind of know or that we just heard play. And today we have someone on that I really know well, and it's an interesting, different interview style that I have to go into.
Yeah, you saw me when I first started here in Indianapolis, and you were one of the first ones that reached out and said, "There's something there. You need to work on these areas, but there's something there." And
well, I think that's the coolest thing about the open mic scene.
Absolutely.
Anywhere, whether it be Indianapolis or you're in another place, is seeing people grow as musicians as they start that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you're still in the middle of that growth and you're just going to get better. But
Thanks.
It just takes, it's that dedication and effort that that does it. So for everybody else to understand, let's start off at the beginning like we do with everyone else. Where did you grow up and where are you from?
so I was born in a log cabin in 1993. No.
An actual log cabin?
No.
Or no?
I was born in Fort Wayne in 1993.
In a subdivision? Or a hospital, probably, most likely.
I think so. Born in Fort Wayne. My father was a teacher and is still now up to a school superintendent. And when I was 2, we moved away from Fort Wayne to a town that escapes my name at this point. But we just moved around the state as my dad got different teaching jobs, and my first memories were in Cannelton, Indiana, right kind of along the Ohio River, in our house there when I was like maybe 4 or 5. When I was 5, we moved just 20 minutes away to Richland, Indiana, another small town kind of in southern Indiana. It was actually close enough to Owensboro, Kentucky, that we would go to Owensboro for groceries and stuff because it was the closest big city, or decently big city.
Well, Tell City's not that far from there either.
No. And we spent plenty of time there as well. Then when I was 7, we moved up to the northwest corner of the state to a town called Morocco, Indiana, up in Newton County. And then we were there for a few years, and then we moved when I was 10, just 13 minutes south to Kentland, Indiana, also in Newton County, the county seat. And that's where we stayed. That's where my parents still live to this day. That's where some of my best friends in the world still live. And I was just there last week for a friend's graduation, and it's kind of haunting to go back and it's like,
See how things have changed?
Well, they haven't really changed, but they haven't. The park's still there. They did redo like the pool center, but like you drive down the street and it's like, oh shit, I remember when I was 10, I was like climbing around these monkey bars in the park and all that.
Right.
Or I remember, I was on this street corner when I met this person, whatever. So I was there until I was 18, graduated high school, and I joined the Air Force. And the Air Force put me in San Antonio for all 6 of my years, minus 5 months that I was overseas in Afghanistan. So my first actual open mic experience was in San Antonio.
So what did you do in the Air Force?
Predominantly, I was an administrative assistant. I kept track of my boss's calendar, kept track of just different tasks and projects going on in my unit just to keep things running. I worked on making sure people like got their medals for their tours or whatever, making sure everything was like grammatically straight in their medal citation, because that's like a public record. And then when I went over to Afghanistan, I got put with an Army unit. And the Army said, we don't care what you did in the States. We need someone to do computers, so you're going to do computers. Half a world away at that point, so I couldn't really say no. And that was, I learned how to take a computer all the way apart and diagnose parts and put everything back together, and how to troubleshoot both hardware and software.
And stay out of getting yourself killed in the war.
Yeah.
Which is, positive.
Always. Right? I mean, there were a few times where I was literally in the middle of fixing a computer and a bomb went off across the city, and I'm like, put the computer parts down,
we're gonna do something else.
Do accountability, get on the radio, make sure everyone's alive, make sure all this stuff, and then once my part's done, just go back to fixing the computer. And just kind of like a light switch between those two things.
That's a hard reality. Thanks for your service.
No problem.
So you were stationed down in San Antonio when you got back, and you started playing open mics.
Yeah.
Had you had guitar lessons before that or anything? Or
So I started playing guitar my senior year of high school. It was just offered as a class in my high school, and loved my high school guitar teacher to death, but it was really just the basics of, here's a G chord, here's a C chord, here's a D chord. This is what a capo does. Here's some songs you can play with those three chords, which can get you far, but now in 2019, I'm looking to actually get into guitar lessons to learn some more. I do know more chords. I learned an A and an E and an F. Well, that's where I'm at.
you're on the road.
Yeah.
So what made you start writing songs? I mean, I feel like just knowing you, that your passion is more for writing the songs than necessarily like learning the instrument as much as just getting your creativity out through the songwriting.
That's fair, yeah. And I kind of started songwriting in my senior year. Just, I don't know, I had some thoughts and ideas pop into my head, just write it down on my phone or on my computer and go back and like try to come up with something for it. And that's kind of still how my songwriting is. Like, I wrote one about 6 months ago that literally just came to me in the Kroger parking lot. I parked my car, there was some idea that came in my head, and it just all came out. So if you're stuck on your songwriting, I recommend the Kroger at 116th and Allisonville in Fishers.
That's the mecca for creativity and songwriting?
Yeah.
The Kroger parking lot at 116th and Allisonville in Fishers, Indiana.
Correct. Especially now that they got their Dunkin' Donuts there.
So you can have a snack while writing the song, and maybe even like, a coffee or an iced tea.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
They have all the things there.
It's a nice shout out for both
Kroger
and Dunkin' Donuts. Either one of them want to send us money to keep the show going.
Yeah.
Then Joe at moonshinemusic.com. Thank you.
Yeah. But I had a lull there from basically the entire time I was in the Air Force, just focused on other things where
obviously it would be.
Yeah. But so I stopped writing songs kind of the end of my senior year of high school, and then didn't really pick it up until 6 months of living in Indianapolis and being around the Indianapolis music scene.
So, what the question I would like to ask you about, because I've seen how hard you work on music.
Thanks.
And that, in some areas, your natural talent definitely lies in your lyrics.
Thank you.
But I see how hard you work on performing your music, and what drives you with that? What is it inside you that goes, hey, I'm gonna do this?
It's really just, at its core point, music and songwriting is kind of just therapy for me. I have this thing that's stirring around in my head and that's troubling me, and I'm gonna get it on a lyric page, and I'm gonna do it on stage and kind of separate it from me. And maybe it'll resonate with other people, maybe it won't, whatever. But I've told you, but I did voice lessons for the first time this year. That helped a lot, both.
Did it help your songwriting as well as your performing?
A little bit. Shout out to Lara Chapman, best voice coach in Indianapolis, and a fantastic musician in her own right. But she also explained, okay, this is some actual music theory, because I never really took the time to do music theory. and this is why these chord structures actually sound good together, and why you might be able to sub this chord for this chord if your hand just can't
do that one.
Yeah.
Who were your influences when you were younger? What did you listen to? What does Tom Westrick music sound like in his car on his playlist?
Oh, Jesus Christ. A lot of Indianapolis musicians, which we can talk about my new set list in a minute. But no, going back to high school, when I first started getting into songwriting, a great friend of mine, dude, that helped kind of fill the gaps with my guitar lessons or my guitar class, Rob Slavins, let me borrow American 4, The Man Comes Around by Johnny Cash, the Unearthed box set by Johnny Cash of all those like outtakes, which was a lot of like really stripped down acoustic stuff and a lot of just the voice and the stories, and that's kind of it. So that's where I got my start, and that's kind of where I still play. The story takes precedence before the guitar playing and anything else for me.
All right, well, this is the point in the show where we bring in our Moonshine Psychic. He's also known as the Moonshine Guru and the world's greatest trivia player.
Yeah.
But for this particular episode, he is going to be the Moonshine Psychic.
Oh, Jesus.
And he has with him, back from the repair shop, completely and utterly together, for the first time here on Moonshine and Music, the Moonshine Crystal Ball.
Oh my God. Okay.
Woo, and it is fancy. It has like kind of a purple aura going on it today.
And even more colors that you can't see because you're not gifted like me.
Well, I mean, he is the world's greatest pseudo-psychologist, so as well as a pseudo-psychic. Mm-hmm. So he is going to tell your future.
Oh, okay.
By digging into the crystal ball.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Always.
All right. All right, I'm seeing boxes. Oh, wait, that's this one. Oh, no. I see boxes for you, too. Look, you're moving.
I mentioned that to you before the show, yeah.
Well, I knew it before. We just, Oh, and it looks like you're getting a mate. Oh, wait, are you going to the zoo?
No.
All right, not a primate. A roommate.
Mentioned that to you before the show, yeah.
Well, again, I mean,
2 for
we're
2.
recording then.
Yeah.
All right, I see someone popping up. You know anybody whose name starts ZYXWVUTSRQP?
Quite a few,
Yeah?
If you list all 26 letters, I'm sure I'll find someone that's name starts with that letter.
Yeah.
There's a J, there's a B, there's another B somewhere, wherever the other Brent went.
Yeah. No, he's not in there because
T.
he's right over there. You have any questions?
Where do babies come from?
Where do babies come from? It's telling me you're not old enough for that conversation yet. I can't go against nature too much. Just,
Yeah.
any questions for you, Joe? No?
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at the last thing.
Okay.
My question is, will Tom become a stadium rock star after this performance?
Yes. They're coming out with a new video game soon. And the clouds are coming. I think it needs to warm up to more action. This is his first time back. So the crystal ball needs a rest.
Is that what it's saying?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Mr.
Yes.
Moonshine Psychic.
Thank you.
Hope I was helpful.
Pseudo
Thank you.
psychic and comedian Brent Lee Smith. Everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, at least you didn't have to play trivia against him.
This is true. This is very true.
So you said you were going to play the song Nothing. What's
Yeah.
the other song you're going to play for us today?
One I wrote in early February of this year titled Numbers Game. And this one was inspired by a bad date I had last year that I was venting to some friends about. And they said, well, love's just a numbers game. I'm like, that's kind of dumb. So the idea of I want to play the numbers game kind of thing was stuck in my head for a few months, and then
So, like, you know, it sounds like your dating life is not going particularly well for you, according to these songs. Is this are you, what do you use? Is there an app? Is it
No.
just people you meet? How does this, you know?
people I meet.
Because you're single right now, right?
Yep.
All right.
Well, when's this episode airing? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
But as of the shooting date, Tom is available, ladies.
Jesus Christ, Joe.
We could do the dating game here. Maybe we need the Moonshine dating guru to come in. No, next time.
But yeah, I got the idea of I don't do Tinder, I don't do Match, any of those, because I just don't want things to be
Yeah.
and I don't want it to be a kind of fly by night. Oh, we're gonna meet for 2 hours and that's it. Like I want to actually know someone before I get with them. So that's where the numbers game idea came from. And shout out to Paul Burris. Hosts a great open mic in Garfield Park at the Garfield Brewery every month. And that song came out in its entirety at the Garfield Brewery open mic for February, or maybe late January.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
I didn't know that, so that's interesting. I mean, I've heard the song before.
Thanks.
But, all right, well, you ready to get up there and give it a shot?
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we'll be back on Moonshine Music with Mr. Tom Westrick. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Joe. This song's called Numbers Game. It'll be the first song off my full album. The album's gonna be called Fade to Nothing, and it'll be out next year. Don't want this to be a numbers game, but we wanna share our joy and pain. Tired of being asked what I do, like I'm at a job interview. We'll take our turns, taking the lead, as long as it's really you and me. So let's get rid of all our shame, stop playing the numbers game. Let's see your favorite spot in the city, so I can watch your eyes looking pretty. Let's close down the coffee shop and feel like we're on a mountaintop. Come on over and I'll cook breakfast, hear your favorite songs and feel our best. Let's go to the gym or for a jog and avoid the no more dating fog. Don't want this to be a numbers game, where we wanna share our joy and pain. Tired of being asked what I do, like I'm at a job interview. We'll take our turns, taking the lead, as long as it's really you and me. So let's get rid of all our shame, stop playing the numbers game. We both had our ups and downs, but let's just head out on the town. We don't have to reach the altar to make this a real adventure. We're both sick of the same old same, where you can't even remember my name. So let's give ourselves a real chance and maybe have a real romance. Don't want this to be a numbers game, where we wanna share our joy and pain. Tired of being asked what I do, like I'm at a job interview. We'll take our turns,
Moonshine and Music is a presentation of Notlehs Entertainment. Copyright 2019, all rights reserved. Our producer is Joe Shelton. Our cameraman, grip, and stunt double is Brent Lee Smith. On cameras and all sorts of other stuff, Bailey Shelton. And our staff guru is Brent Schlemmer. Join us each Sunday for more episodes of Moonshine and Music.